Hey guys, I'm here with meteorologist Kat Campbell. We are talking about this winter storm that we're expecting this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. No, both are WRAL weather alert days. We're expecting snow, ice, the whole lot. What we don't know right now is if we do see that snow, how much we're going to see.
But we do know it's going to be high impact, and that's the key at this phase. I don't want to get into the exact numbers because it's so complex when you get a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain in the area. What's important is to tell people it's not going to be safe to travel, especially late Saturday into Sunday and potentially into next week as well. People need to start preparing now, and a lot of times, you know, we can be a bit more vague at this stage, but we really have high confidence in this threat from the winter storm this weekend, and that's why we're moving ahead with it. We're telling people to get ready. We are confident that this is going to be a pretty big deal in our area, and we invite you to watch here on YouTube. We're going to kind of do this casually and, you know, ask some questions, let us know what you want to know about the winter storm as well.
Yes, and one thing that me and other anchors as well and reporters are asking, and it's interesting because usually when we're forecasting these types of things, it's you wait until you get as close as you can to really get those precise predictions. But you guys are really confident. It's Tuesday. The storm is not getting here till Saturday afternoon, and you guys are already saying, hey, this is going to be pretty significant.
Yes, and let me explain why. We're not just making that call out of a guess. So I'm going to show you some graphics here that are going to help explain why. It is the setup. The overall setup is what you want for a big one in North Carolina. High pressure is located in a good spot. It's strong. It's going to push in the cold air, and it's going to keep pushing in cold air. It also will get the cold air here before the moisture ever arrives. For a good snow or a good winter storm in general in North Carolina, the cold air has to get here before the moisture. Check on that with this upcoming winter storm. And that southern storm track is significant as well. While we've got the cold air in place first with this round, this storm track and the way the jet stream is going to set up, it's going to feed in a lot of moisture from the Gulf. I mean, when you even think about vacationing during the summer months or a lot of months of the year, think of how humid it is in New Orleans, along the Gulf Coast, how warm, how humid it is.
I lived in Florida, I know.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is that, you know, just bowl down there where the humidity lives, and you can pump in a lot of moisture, and that's not just the case during hurricane season. That's the case year round. So we're going to pump in a lot of moisture. We got a lot of moisture. We got a lot of cold air. We got the recipe for a big one here. We just have to pinpoint the precipitation types. And that gets complicated with the precipitation types. We actually have to do a little math in weather. We take a lot of math class, and I want to show you a good comparison here. I'm pulling up my graphic system so you can really get a better feel for why this is interesting in our area. We're going to take the graphic here. 1 inch. Let's say you've got 1 inch of liquid, 1 inch of rain if it's warm enough to be rain outside in the cloud. What's going to happen is that turns into, on average, about 10 inches of snow if it is freezing all the way from the cloud to the surface. If it is not, that is just 1 inch of sleet and 1 inch of freezing rain. So what we're doing, we're figuring out right now how much liquid do we have. Is it 2 inches of liquid? And then we've got to break down kind of a ratio of how much of that will fall as snow, how much of that will fall as sleet. And you can see a huge difference there in how that works. And while this will likely be a big snow in parts of our viewing area, we're not buying those huge numbers that are getting thrown around from one model on the internet or an iPhone app, because the iPhone app is just seeing how much liquid is falling, and it's got a really hard time of telling whether or not it's going to fall as snow or freezing rain or sleet. It can't see those mid-levels of the atmosphere as well as we can, so it does a lot of overestimating. Regardless, it's going to be a big deal this weekend. Make sure you've got some backup plans.
And make sure you have the WRAL weather app as well. You have that in the palm of your hand. You guys send alerts to that, everything up to the minute, what everybody needs to know. I think a big question for people watching this is, you know, somebody says, hey, I live in Durham. What are my chances compared to somebody that might live down in Fayetteville?
Well, you know, we actually did just create our first handmade map of the winter storm. So let me show that to you. What happens with all of our snow maps that you see on WRAL and the precipitation type maps like this? These aren't raw model data. Mike Mays and myself this evening worked together to collaborate and put this together. Elizabeth with her team in the morning will also work to update this each day. The snow is more likely, an all-snow event toward the Triad, of course the mountains, Boone, and over toward Roxborough, maybe Rocky Mount, and in northern Wake County, areas like Wake Forest, Durham, maybe Chapel Hill, but from Raleigh down to Fayetteville, that's where we've got more ice mixing in with the snow. I'm not saying that there won't be enough snow around Wake County for kids to be able to go out and play with it, but there may still be some sleet mixed in with that, and then south of Fayetteville, it may be more of a sleet and freezing rain mix, and nobody wants ice. That's the problem here. Nobody wants to deal with the ice, and unfortunately, with this setup, I don't see us escaping an ice storm in at least part of our viewing area. We're just going to be tracking how far north or south that kind of swath of ice will end up being, and I know nobody wants to hear it, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that. That's a concern with power outages, and that's one of the reasons why we issued the WRAL Weather Alert Days so early. We want people to get on top of this and actually start preparing now. I'll be totally honest with you. I was working last night with you until midnight. I have not run to the grocery store yet to prepare for this. I do have snow melt. I keep that on hand during the winter months. I got my sled.
So you need the bread and the milk. You need to go to the grocery store.
I think I'll go with other beverages. And you know, one thing to note, it's going to be really cold outside, so in terms of refrigeration, you can almost do like what they do in the Midwest and up north.
And store your food and groceries outside.
Yeah, at least some of them that maybe aren't as high risk. Things like cheese or your jelly for your peanut butter and jellies. Certain things like that. But, I mean, I guess if you've got to find a positive there, that may help with some of the food, but definitely not with people staying safe. If we have power outages and we're looking at single-digit, potentially low temperatures next week.
That's dangerous.
That can really be dangerous. So that is why we're really trying to get people prepared as early as we can with this event. Things will change. We're going to fine-tune this forecast, so please stay tuned with us throughout the week as we get those questions answered. Really nail down the details, but we are gearing up for a very busy weekend. So anything on your mind, you know, just like as you prepare for the weekend as well?
I mean, like I was saying earlier, I just think it's incredible how you guys are so sure this far out that this is going to be some sort of system, whether that's going to be ice, whether that's going to be snow, whether it's going to be freezing rain, or everything that I just mentioned all together. It's amazing how you know that something is headed our way.
This is classic. This is in our textbooks, basically, how to get snow in North Carolina. The author of our textbook is from North Carolina. So shout out to Dr. Gary Lackman at NC State. But I mean, in all seriousness, this is the textbook southern winter storm setup.
And we definitely have you covered. Duke Energy also aware, obviously, of everything that's going on. A quarter of an inch of ice, that's all it takes to take down some power lines. So this is something that we're going to be watching very closely. You guys are following it very closely. Make sure you have the WRAL News app. Make sure you have the WRAL Weather app. You can always watch us here on YouTube or wherever you get your streaming services.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
One more thing, just before we let you go, things that are going to happen over the next 48 hours. The system is over the ocean right now. It's going to be moving over land here pretty soon, and as soon as that is over land on the West Coast, we get weather balloon data that goes into that system. All the airports across the country are measuring all that information, and all that data goes into our weather models, and we get a more accurate forecast. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, and if you have flights, speaking of airports, make sure you check them this weekend. I know you were supposed to go somewhere this weekend. Doesn't look like that's happening anymore.
I don't think that's going to be happening. We'll see how it goes.
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Kat.